3 decades of making movies, and now with a new Kiwi film close to his heart, Lee Tamahori still has stories to tell. The Convert is set in 1830s Aotearoa and has just opened in cinemas. Here's Kate Roger.
Confronting, unflinching, Once Were Warriors changed everything for director Lee Tamahori. It was his very first feature film. It launched him into a Hollywood career.
You should learn to pay your respects.
From Jake the Muss to James Bond, Jinx to John Cleese. And how about we throw a Dame Judy and maybe a Sir Anthony in there for good measure? For 3 decades, Tamahori has been telling stories from South Auckland to Hollywood and London.
Bond. James Bond.
More recently, though, back home and back with Tem in Mahana in 2016. And now we go back even further, 1830s Aotearoa, during the tribal wars for the Convert.
What do you want?
Why was this story in this film so important for you to tell?
Because it was of a time when Māori dominated and Europeans were outnumbered hundreds, if not thousands to one. So it was interesting to watch a piece of history where dominant culture is not European.
Australian Guy Pearce crossed the Tasman to play with Tamahori. He's Munro, a lay preacher with a very dark past. Opposite the seasoned pro is Rangimai. It's a role delivered with a ferocious intensity by relative newcomer Tioreore Ngatai-Melbourne.
We die as warriors.
Her director knows what a talent she is, what a future she has, using his inimitable dry humour to remind her of that. She's got a bit of a future ahead of her, would you say that?
That's for sure. As long as she doesn't mess it up. Stay off the drugs, moderate amount of alcohol.
Much of this film was shot on the west coast of Tāmaki Makaurau, stunning and untouched, and the very first film crew to ever shoot here.
It's such a wonderful place. No one had ever been allowed to film there.
I love doing outside scenes because you can draw from your environment.
And despite his 3 Kiwi films feeling like they're worlds apart, Tamahori doesn't see it that way.
One could say that this film comes first. The second one is Mahana, which shows Māori 120 years later. What's happened to them. They've become servants on their own land. And you might say that Once Were Warriors is the end product.
The Convert is a big screen watch. It's just rolled into cinemas across the motu. Kate Roger, News Up.